Thank you, Donald, and good evening, everybody. Well, David Davis, the Brexit Secretary, a man that I campaigned with, I shared platforms with during the referendum campaign, the man that I thought was the ultimate hardliner in this government, the man that would absolutely guarantee that Brexit meant Brexit, has said in a speech in Riga, Latvia, that British people need a lot of persuading. It indeed will take years and years to get them to do the jobs currently done by EU workers, and he would only restrict free movement of people when it was in the national interest. Now, I can scarcely believe that these arguments have come from David Davis, because it seemed to me that the main reason, above all, that we voted to leave the European Union is we wanted to get back control of our lives, and in particular, control of our borders, because unrestricted free flow of unskilled labour had driven down wages, had made it tough to get a GP appointment, to get our kids into the right school. I won't rehearse the referendum argument, but clearly that was the winning one. And I'm asking you tonight, I'm appealing to you. If you're a Brexit voter, does this make you angry? And if it does, please call me on 0345 60 60 973, text me at 84850, tweet me at LBC using the hashtag Farage on LBC, and you can watch us live here from Washington, DC on LBC's Facebook page. I am astonished that of all the people, it's David Davis that has said this. I assume if we mean we're going to continue with free movement of people, we mean free access to the health service, free education system for people's children. I just wonder whether, like me, you feel a little bit betrayed by what's been said by David Davis, of all people. And first up, to tell me what he thinks, is Gary in Dagenham. Gary, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Nigel. Just wanted to start off by saying I think you're great, and you like the Pied Piper, and I love the toot from your flute. But as for David Davis's point, no, I don't agree with him. I voted for Brexit to control borders and have a Australian points-based system. We're always going to need immigrants and people coming into this country for nursing and fruit picking, etc. But the point of Brexit was to put those controls in place, having free movement. I mean, what changes? What was the Brexit vote all about, really?
Well, Gary, frankly, nothing. I mean, if we absolutely do need seasonal fruit pickers, or whatever it may be, and there are people from Latvia or Bulgaria or wherever it is that are happy to do those jobs for the money that's being offered, that's fine. You could issue them a short-term work permit. Exactly. But what you don't do, I mean, that's the common sense approach. And yet that, I think, Gary, that is the bit of this that is so shocking, is that David Davis is saying... I really don't see what the big deal is, why we can't operate a system like all these other countries. I don't see what the problem, why is it so difficult? It works in other countries, why can't it work here? Well, Gary, actually, it works all over the world. It's only in the European Union where we have this free movement concept. But the other point is, I mean, what they're basically saying, what he's saying, is that there is a cultural problem here and that British workers won't do these jobs. Do you think he's right or not?
I think maybe I slightly agree with him. But, I mean, at the end of the day, if people want to come here and do these jobs, then we've got a points-based system in place, then at least we're controlling the numbers coming in rather than having free movement.
Yeah, Gary, you've made the point beautifully. That's what you voted for. That's what millions of people voted for. And that's what David Davis appears to have turned his back on, which I suspect is making people angry. It's making me angry. Is it making Mark in Palmer's Green angry, I wonder?
Oh, hello there, Nigel. Yes, it is making me very angry, in fact. I've really respected David Davis as one of the hardline, free Brexiteers, and the number one reason I voted leave was because of the monumental influx of unskilled cheap labour from Eastern Europe. It hit me hard, being in the building trade, it absolutely hit me hard, and it put me out of business, and many friends who have lost their livelihoods. And I would just say that David Davis needs to come and walk in my shoes just for 1 week, and he might soon change his mind on that decision he's making.
Yeah, I mean, he does, Mark. I mean, there is a bigger point here, which is that a lot of the people who come from Eastern Europe are very hard-working, and employers like them, and it's only fair and reasonable to acknowledge that and to say that. But surely, as our previous caller Gary said, if you absolutely need this labour, you control it with a work permit, a point system. You do whatever you need to do. What you don't do is continue with free, open movement. And I tell you, Mark, what's ironic, what's really ironic, is he said that in Latvia. I had a coffee last week with the former president of Lithuania. He told me since they joined the European Union, they've lost 25% of their population. A quarter of the country has left. All the bright young doctors, all the bright young accountants. So very often we talk about free movement having damaged the way of life in the United Kingdom. Actually, it's been devastating for those Baltic state countries and not good for either, Mark, in my view.
Oh, this whole political project has damaged every blooming country in the European Union. Oh, I just can't wait for it to just crumble and disappear. It's just the worst idea that anybody's ever had in the history of mankind. Political project. Oh, God, I loathe it with all my being. The cabbages are still being picked pre-2004. The building work is still being done by me, you know, plumbing, electrical work, etc., etc., you know. I mean, for example, I'll give you an example. The other day, I found myself in the unfortunate position of being unemployed just lately. And I called for a job the other day for ground working, and the man said to me, "I'll pay you £40 a day." And I said, "You are, obviously, you must be joking." And he said, "Listen, my friend, I've got people, Eastern Europeans, lining up, more than happy to do that job for £40 a day." That's what we're up against, Nigel. That's what we are having to live
Mark, I agree with that. And Mark, you're one of the few callers that makes me feel like a Europhile Heathite. So Eurosceptic are you? And I enjoyed very much what you had to say. Your texts and tweets coming in. Nigel, is Davis doing a backroom deal here? Do you think? That's from Anne. Well, he might be. David Davis, what a disgrace. We voted out. Damn it. Out means out. Davis is stabbing Brexiteers in the back. Our wages are being suppressed. There is danger ahead, says Tom in Manchester. And on Facebook, Carl Kerridge says, most of what Davis has said and done since June the 23rd has been worrying. Tim Spencer takes a different view and says, Nigel, beating up foreigners again. Of course Davis is right. Well, Tim, David Davis may be right on the economic arguments. Maybe the entirety of British youth are lazy, drunk out of their minds, and won't take any job that's offered them at all. Maybe that's right. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. But I tell you what's not right, Tim Spencer. What is not right is when a country votes clearly to end freedom of movement, and the Brexit Secretary is now telling us we may have to live with free movement for years and years to come. Surely, in any sense of what that referendum meant democratically, that cannot be right. At least it's not right to me. I wonder whether it is to Raphael in Richmond.
Hi, Nigel. Can you hear me?
I certainly can.
Hi, Nigel. Thank you for taking my call. I can't say I'm a fan because I am against Brexit. I am an European myself. And I'm actually not happy about the news because I think that it proves to me that this whole Brexit strategy has been wrong from the beginning. I think that the people that are in place at the moment, they are bringing this country into a very difficult position. And, you know, apart from the fact that, you know, us Europeans working here, and I've been working here for over 26 years now, pay my taxes, never been unemployed, and I pay quite a lot of taxes.
Raphael, when you say you're a European, I mean, what actually are you then?
I'm Spanish.
Spanish. So do you feel European first and Spanish second?
I feel Spanish 100%. And I feel that, you know, yes, I understand that Europe has its problems. And I understand that, you know, I understand the will of the people that they want to live. I think that if the whole campaign was flawed on both sides entirely. Let's not talk about the $250 million for the NHS, because I think that was a fluke. But, at the end of the day, this is just proving to me that the people that are in power, the people that are taking this movement ahead, are what they are. They are playing us for fools.
Yeah.
And I think that the people that voted it, honestly, you deserve what you get. And I think that...
Well, Raphael, you are a true Democrat because you disagreed with the Brexit vote, but you share the suspicion, and perhaps not quite, but nearly anger, that many Brexit voters are feeling tonight, because we're not, by the looks of it, going to get what we actually voted for. And that is wrong, isn't it?
Oh, that's definitely wrong. But also, I think the people that have been here working legally and for a long, long time, today, for example, they don't know what's going to happen to them. I don't know what's going to happen to me. I've been legally here, living. I have children here. They are British. They have British passports. I don't have a British passport.
Raphael, can I give you total reassurance on this? Whether we've let too many people in or not, particularly since 2004, is a debate you can agree on or disagree on. I think we did. But, Raphael, everybody that came in, particularly since 2004, came into the country legally, because the government, through our EU membership, allowed them to do that. Not one person, not one single person in the Leave campaign ever said that anyone that had legally come to Britain would not continue to have their rights to stay. All right? That is not even a question.
Nevertheless, that is not, it feels like today that we are being used as a negotiation pawn.
Well, I very much hope, I don't believe you are, Raphael, for one moment, but what I would say is, Mrs. May did make this point in her speech last month. It's a point she needs to make again. Raphael, I thank you for your very interesting call. You're listening to The Nigel Farage Show, exclusively here on LBC, live from Washington, and it's 7:15.
Nick Ferrari at breakfast on LBC.
Until a couple of days ago, the name Wayne Shaw didn't mean that much in the world of football.
The Football Association and the Gambling Commission opened investigations after Shaw confessed he was aware that Sun Bets, the bookmakers, offered odds of 8-1 he would live up to his roly-poly goalie moniker by eating the snack on camera during the game.
Well, let's speak to Graham Lasseau.
The fact it was a pie and the fact that it was the story that goes along with Wayne is funny and makes it funny on the face of it, but actually behind that it's a very serious issue, because if he knew what he was doing, then effectively it's the same as offering inside information to people on the outcome of a certain event during a game, and that's the serious bit.
Nick Ferrari at breakfast, every weekday morning from 7, only on LBC.
With Hampton by Hilton, making you welcome at over 40 hotels in Europe.
BT and Sky have just raised their prices yet again. If you're one of their broadband customers, you're probably not too happy about it. But did you know from when they tell you you have 30 days to leave your contract penalty-free? And when you switch to TalkTalk, we guarantee no price rises on any of our fixed price plans. Like our best ever savings on our totally unlimited fast broadband, just £20 a month including line rental, guaranteed for your whole 24-month plan. Saving up to £417 versus BT. It's for new and existing customers too. So switch today at talktalk.co.uk. TalkTalk. For everyone. Contract and conditions apply.
Now, we have a long list of things to get through in today's meeting, so let's get started. We need someone to pick up the cakes for the cake sale.
I'll do it.
Sally, brilliant. And we need someone to drive to the florist for the...
Me? And why don't I pick up the school rabbit from the vet?
Aren't you scared of rabbits?
Well, it's time to face my fear. Whatever reasons you find to come back, you'll earn Tesco Club Card points when you fill up at Esso. Many happy returns. Participating sites only. Terms and minimum spend apply. See esso.co.uk for details.
The Global Academy is a state school for 14 to 19-year-olds interested in a media career. Our next Meet the Principal Day is on the 24th of February. Register now at globalacademy.com.
What if someone else did all the donkey work to find out if you had PPI for free? Well, that's exactly what we do here at the Claims Guys. Just text EASY to 60777 and we'll do the digging to discover if you ever had PPI added to one of your accounts. After that, you can pursue the claim yourself or ask us to do it for you. It's your choice. But if you don't text EASY to 60777, you'll never know. The Claims Guys, the PPI people.
The Claims Guys.
Don't break down now. I've got friends round tonight.
Oh, don't break down now. I've got to open the shop.
Whether you're running a home or a business, you'll want a boiler that won't let you down. With a new one from British Gas, you'll not only get £400 off, you'll get a fixed price guarantee and a 5-year warranty for added peace of mind. But... I'm getting to it, Wilbur. You only have until 31st of March to get £400 off. Search British Gas or call 0800 754 754. Conditions apply.
Who's Off helps you to easily manage your staff leave, holiday and sickness, no matter what your company size. Start your free trial today at whosoff.com.
The family member who was concerned. The neighbour who felt uneasy. The teacher who was worried. The coach who noticed at practice. And you. Child abuse. If you think it, report it. Visit gov.uk/tackle child abuse to find out how. Together, we can tackle child abuse.
This is LBC, the Nigel Farage Show. Live from Washington. Call 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Tweet at LBC using the hashtag Farage on LBC.
Brexit hero and now Secretary David Davis, in a speech in Latvia, says it may well be years and years before we end the freedom of movement of people, of workers coming into Britain, and we won't do so until it's in the national interest. And I'm asking particularly Brexit voters, do you feel angry? Do you feel betrayed by these comments? And I've also had a call before the break from Raphael from South London saying that actually, as a Remain voter, he's unhappy with this because it's clearly a breach of faith. A couple of things that really strike me is we get the argument that without Eastern European workers, our hotels couldn't function, the fruit and cauliflowers would rot in the fields. Well, none of that was happening, was it, before we opened the doors in 2004? And the other thing that's happening that really gets me is, and it started with Tony Blair, and it's gone on, even Boris Johnson has done it, is that we say, we've got to have all these people coming in from across Europe because our youngsters are useless, fat, lazy, drunk, they're no good. Amazing, isn't it? British governments slagging off our own people to make way for foreign workers. And I believe Blair introduced that narrative as an excuse to cover up for the fact that his government estimate of 13,000 people extra a year proved, in fact, to be hundreds of thousands. I think it's absolutely awful to condemn all of your young people, and I've certainly found, travelling around the country, that that certainly is not always the case. I met a young girl in Peterborough, outside the cathedral. I was canvassing, campaigning in the 2009 European elections, and she'd just been refused a job on a packing line because she couldn't speak Polish. And she was very, very angry about that. Carl on Facebook says, travel outside of London and the major cities, and you'll see the jobs are being done by British people. Stop saying Brits don't want the work. And I have to say, I'm sure we do have, our fair share of young people who would rather live on benefits and do nothing. But I think to categorise British youth, all of them, like that, is absolutely wrong. That's my view. What does Kenny in Enfield think?
Hello, Nigel. Good evening. Nice to talk to you, yeah?
Good evening, good evening.
I don't know, you may remember who is talking to you. There was a day you were staying in a King's Cross about 6 years ago, and you see a black guy carrying a ladder in King's Cross. I am the one talking to you.
I remember.
You definitely you will remember because you look at me many times, and I recognize you, Nigel Farage. I'm sorry, the thing is, the why I call now is, I don't think you understand what you're pushing British people to. You are dealing with Europeans, with 27 states, with British economic power, very great and beautiful. Hello, you remember the other 27 states wouldn't allow you to get things you got. I'm from Africa, yeah? And the benefit in which British passport to get all over the world, I'm telling you, this thing, they will never get it in next 10 years. Yeah? You know the people who suffer from this passport of intimidation and insult are people from Africa, especially I who come from Nigeria. Yeah? And I'm telling you that other European countries learn what British people do. That is why they intimidate us. I want you to focus in making sure that British people who haven't got a job, that they get a job. And how you can make this is to enforce the council to create jobs. I do cleaning, and I know that there are massive too many jobs. If council can be able to enforce that, the road will be clean.
Well, Kenny, there's a lot local councils can do, and you could argue that local councils could prioritise British workers over workers from the European Union or indeed anywhere in the world and put them there first. You could, but I've no doubt if you did that, you'd be told you were doing something discriminatory. Kenny, I thank you for your call. Andrew in Bromley, are you a Brexit voter that's angry with David Davis?
Yes, I am. And,
right, okay.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. I was in Gloucester at the time of the vote, and I campaigned on my own, and I got lots of young people to believe in the Brexit dream for themselves, you know, and I made them see the reasons why it was necessary. And for me personally, one of the reasons why I voted was border control, because no country can enforce its territorial integrity without border control. Now, I'm a migrant myself, and it's so surprising why I'll be so strong in this point. I'm here as a worker on a work visa. To get a work visa, you have to earn above a certain amount of money, and to stay here permanently, you have to earn over £35,000. And it doesn't stop there. You pay health insurance charge £200 a year. So if you're going to be here for 5 years, that's going to be £1,000, and you pay that at the time you're applying to get your visa. It doesn't stop.
Andrew, where are you from? Andrew, where are you from?
I'm from Nigeria.
Right, okay, because if you were from the European Union, you wouldn't need to do any of that, would you?
No, you wouldn't. You know, you have to pass an English test. You know, the rules are stringent. Now, I don't mind it because it just shows that whatever I've got and whatever I've earned it based on merit, and the facts are there to prove. Now, if you have people who are coming in who can't even contribute as much as we do, you know, we need to be qualified academically. You have to have the minimum of a BSc. I've got an MBA. Now, you have people who have no qualifications, no skills whatsoever, and they can just walk in and do what they like, and there is no control. You know, there is no control. I feel that's unfair. If you want to talk about fairness and equality, then the rules have to be equal across the board, whether you are from Africa or whether you are from
Andrew, you make your point, as Kenny did before, both of you originating from Africa, that we finished up in this bizarre position where we give totally preferential treatment to people from the European Union against other parts of the world, the Commonwealth countries, you name it. And one of the arguments for Brexit was that we would be able not only to control immigration coming into Britain, but not to discriminate against people from one country in favour of those from another. Andrew, I thank you for your call. Andrew there, who makes the point he does not object as a migrant worker to having to pay his way. Text and tweets, Nigel, how can you say anything was the main reason people voted for Brexit? We were given a yes or no, there was no detail, and so no main reason. Get it together, Nigel. Neil from Finchley. Sorry, Neil. There were lots of reasons people voted to remain and lots of reasons people voted to leave. But the primary reason people voted to leave, and the reason the turnout was massively higher than the general election the year before, is the one thing that really got people was being members of the European Union meant we'd lost control of our borders, which is why a lot of us are so angry with David Davis. Hi, Nigel. Theresa May commented on this. They've just gone power crazy and think they can make decisions that go against the majority. Well, there are many that will think that. Nigel, I'm starting to wonder how we even managed to function before the influx from Eastern Europe in 2004. Anton, you clearly have a very short memory. All the crops were rotting in the fields. There was nobody prepared to work in hotels. What utter nonsense those arguments are. Whatever happened to the bulldog spirit? Britain coped perfectly well before the EU. We are such wimps now. Vicky on Facebook says, scapegoating the immigrants has long